because each of these outcomes or each of these results that you want to create, there is a different process. There are different problems to solve. There are different challenges that you will encounter. How do you define a relationship? So what's a relationship? What's a relationship? And I go back to what I've talked about before, which is how I look at everything in life as a game, okay, as a game that we play. And I've talked about your money game, your relationship game, your business game, your career game. So tonight we're talking about a relationship game. To be honest, okay, this topic is enough to write a book, okay, to write a few books and still not finish writing. So tonight I will do my very best to talk about it in a way that makes sense, okay, and this is how I see it. So we talk about the relationship game. So when we play a game, okay, when we play a game, any game, there is a result that we want, right? At the end of the game, when we finish playing the game, we want to create a result, okay? We want to create an outcome. We want to play the game and win the game. So then my question is, if we must first understand what is the end game, okay? At the end of this game, what do you want? And this game could be, I don't know, could be for a period of time. It could be for an entire lifetime. What do you want? Then the next question is, what kind of relationship are we talking about? For the purpose of keeping this conversation focused, I'm going to talk about people that we're going to spend time with, that we're going to get to know very, very well. Once upon a time, when we talk about relationships, okay, they look a certain way. If you talk to your parents about relationship, they will have a definition. If we talk to our grandparents about relationship, they will have a definition. Today, I think the definition is very, very broad. Okay, so my first question is, what do you want? Okay, what do you want? What is the outcome that you want from this relationship game? And for each of us, we may have a different answer. I don't have a right or wrong, good or bad. Okay, I'll say that all the time. I don't have a good, right or wrong, good or bad about whatever it is that anybody wants out of any game, and in this instance, the relationship game. So in every game, okay, so I'll come back to the outcome in a little while. Okay, so in every game, when we go into any game, there are four things that we need to understand. We need to understand what the problem is that we want to solve, right? What are the obstacles? What are the challenges? What are the problems that we need to solve in order to create the result that we want? That's the most important, because if you don't solve the problems, if you don't overcome the struggles and the obstacles, you are not going to win the game. You're not going to get to the end of the game. Who are the players? Who are the players in the game? Who are the other people who are playing the game with you? 3, where are you playing this game? What's the environment that you're playing this game in? And number 4, what are the rules of the game? What are the agreements? What are the expectations? What are things that define how this game is played? Okay, can do, cannot do, and everything else in between. Okay, so these 4 things. So now I'll go back. Okay, now I'll go back to the outcome that you want to create. So what kind of relationship are we talking about? Okay, and earlier I said I'm going to talk about deeper relationships, not the high-buy type of relationships, people passing and all that, but the deeper relationships where we get to know one or other people better, okay, to establish something more meaningful, have a person that we are willing to spend time with, invest energy, and get maybe even intimate with. Okay, so in this scope, what type of relationship do you want? Once upon a time, earlier I talked about this, for our parents, that kind of relationship typically only exists, and I could be wrong, okay, this is just from my experience, typically only exists in a marriage, okay, where 2 people come together and then they spend a lifetime together, make babies and a family, and build the future together. Okay, so it was also with our grandparents. But today, is it still the same type of relationship that we are looking for? Maybe not. Some of us are, some of us are not. So what is this relationship? Is it with a friend? Is it a friend relationship? And you know, friends can get very, very close. Is it a lover relationship? Is it a soulmate relationship? Is it a spouse relationship? That means you get married to the other person. Is it a sex partner relationship? Okay, you can have sex partners without getting married. Okay, is it a companion relationship? Okay, that means you keep each other company. Okay, just be there for each other. Is it a co-parent relationship? That means with this other person, you're going to have children. Okay, and here's where I also want to talk about. Once upon a time, when we talk about having children, first people need to get married and then have children. Okay, normally. But more and more today, I also realize that there are a lot more people who are okay to have children, but they don't want to get married. Okay, they don't want to get married, but they have an arrangement. They have an arrangement together to be parents of the children, of the child or the children, and that's it. You have to be very clear what this is. Is it one of these? Is it a combination of a few? What does it look like? Because then that becomes the outcome that you will want to create. You know, if you have a sex partner and a spouse, there are different things. If you're a co-parent and a companion, there are different things. Sometimes in a companion relationship, people don't want to have children because they have other things that they might want to do in their lives, or they may not be able to have children. For example, in gay relationships, okay, if two men come together, okay, I think for two women to come together and have kids through surrogacy and different arrangements may be more possible. But for two guys to come together, then it is having somebody else be involved in creating the baby or through adoption. So it's a little bit different. Okay, so what is that relationship that you want? You've got to be clear. Because if you're not clear, you go around in circles and you will have mismatched expectations. And both of you may be playing different games. And then you know when you play different games, okay, you go around in circles and you don't actually get to where you might want to go. You might know where you want to go, but the person that you're playing with may not know that's your end point. Okay, so you've got to be clear. And the other person also has got to be clear. So this is where do you want to go? What do you want? Because each of these outcomes or each of these results that you want to create, there is a different process. There are different problems to solve. There are different challenges that you will encounter. Okay, then the next thing is this. Even if you want what you want, then you need to find willing parties. Okay, other people who may share the same philosophy, who may share the same beliefs, who may share the same things. Okay, in order to play the game. Okay, whoever wants to be involved needs to play the same game. You cannot be playing different games. Okay, so who are the players? And sometimes you want a certain thing, but there's nobody to play with. There's nobody to play with, then you also need to know that maybe this game cannot be played. Or maybe this game cannot be played here. You might need to play it somewhere else, or you might need to find people to play this game with. Okay, so know what you want, be very clear, know who you can play the game with and where you can find these people to play that game with. Then the other thing also is this, as you get into the game, okay, as you play this game, you also need to be clear. As part of this game that you're playing, this relationship that you have, what does it look like? Is it a one-to-one relationship? Is it a one-to-one relationship but keep changing partners? Is it a one-to-many relationship? Or is it a one and then many relationship and then you're one of them? So there are a lot of combinations today. Okay, there are a lot of combinations today because the world is evolving in a way where a lot of rules are changing. A lot of what's happening in the world is changing. Is it going to be a committed relationship? That means if I say that I'm going to be with you, that means I'm going to be with you. Or is it going to be a casual relationship? Means anytime I can be with anyone, you can be with anyone, and it's okay. What does that look like? Some people can do this, other people cannot. What do you want? And the other thing also is this. Okay, we are all at different stages of our lives. At a certain point in your life, you might have a certain idea of what you want. And then you experiment with it, you like it, then you want more of it. Sometimes you experiment with it, then you don't like it so much, and then you change. And it's totally okay also to change. Nothing is permanent. Okay, so over the different points in your life, as we grow older, as we are more exposed to things, things may change. Then how is that changing? But wherever it is, you still need to be clear what it is that you want. So now, there's the whole game that's being played. Okay, there's people to play with. Then you look at the environment. Okay, the environment that you are playing this game. There are certain environments, because of culture, because of religion, because of political situations, because of family. Some things you can do, other things you cannot do. So you need to understand what the environment is like, whether it's a supportive environment that you can actually play the game that you want to play in the way that you want to play that game, or is it a hostile environment where there are things you cannot do. There are things you cannot do. You cannot be with somebody who is of a different race or culture. You cannot be with another person of the same sex. You cannot be. So there are rules, okay, in certain environments that may allow or may not allow certain things. And this is what I call hostile environments. Environments that are not supportive, that allows us to get what we want. And then we've also got to assess, do we stay in the environment or do we look for a different environment? Because sometimes it is tough. Okay, if it's a hostile environment, there will be a lot of struggle. Okay, so what is the environment? Understand the environment. Then the fourth thing is this. Now you know what you want, you know who you're going to play with, you know that the environment, you can play that game in the environment. Then the fourth thing is, what are the agreements that you have? Agreements can be made, agreements can be broken. But whatever the thing is, there have got to be agreements, because without agreements, then everyone, okay, the people who are involved in the game are playing based on their own rules, playing based on their own assumptions and their own understanding of what the game is. And that is a recipe for disaster, because I might be making certain assumptions that, hey, I can have a casual relationship and have many people anytime. And the person that I'm playing with may have an idea of, no, this has got to be a monogamous single person relationship. And then we don't talk to each other about this. We don't create the agreements. We don't lay down the rules. Guess what's going to happen? A lot of drama. Okay, so this needs to be established. This rules of the game, what we call rules of the game. And part of the rules of the game also when two or more people get together. Okay, and I always say this, two or more people, because I don't make the assumption anymore that relationships is just about two people. Because I have seen so much, okay, so many different combinations of relationships. Initially, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, how can this be? Because I had a certain set of beliefs. And my certain set of beliefs, I was looking at this, and wow, these people have a different set of beliefs. So I realized that my set of beliefs was really limiting me, my reality box. So today I see all sorts of relationships, and it's fine. It's whatever you want. It's none of my business. It's whatever you want, whatever works for you. But however it looks like, you need to agree to the rules. You also need to have a common future or common goal. All the people who are involved are aligned to. Okay, what does that mean? That means you're willing to support each other in creating that future. It may not be the same thing. So I will also not say that, oh, you must share the same dream, that you must share the same goal, you must share. No, you don't. Because each of us are individuals and each of us have got our hopes and dreams. It is not always the case that we share that same dream. Okay, but does it mean that because you don't share the same dream that you cannot be together? It doesn't. Okay, you can have your own dreams and all the people involved say, okay, I will support you. Okay, that's your dream. I will support you. I also have my dream. And then the other person or people will say, yeah, you have your dream. We also support you. So everybody is supporting each other to get to the dream. And then they do it together. So then that establishes a way to play without saying that, how come you're doing this? How come you're doing this? How come you're doing this? That's a lot of drama. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification button. This is Douglas Kampung Kid signing out. Be the master you already are.